And now let's turn to the U.S., where strong winds and dry, hot weather are accelerating the spread of wildfires, scorching vast stretches of Oregon, California, and other western states. And the Bootleg Fire in Oregon is the largest of 80 major blazes now active in the U.S., and it currently covers over 1,200 square kilometers. The blaze has destroyed at least 70 homes and over 100 other buildings. Log fires burning a couple of miles to the northeast of Bootleg Fire. And authorities say the two are likely to merge. And in California, wildfires continues to burn toward the northeast in the remote area that's difficult to reach. Mandatory evacuations have taken place in several small towns and other areas, affecting hundreds of people. Meteorologists predict critically dangerous fires through to at least Monday, with the lightning possible in both California and southern Oregon. Colorado is a state anxiously watching fires unfold in neighboring states. Last year, it suffered its worst wildfires in history. Strong Callebs tells us more about all the fires.
Aptly named, the East Troublesome Fire roared through Grand County, Colorado last October. All these blackened trees are dead. Eventually, they will fall, and from a distance, they look like discarded toothpicks. It is the second largest wildfire in the state's history.
Had you ever experienced anything like what you went through in 2020?
We planned for the worst of the worst, but 2020 was that worst of the worst of the worst. There's just no other way to explain it.
County Sheriff Brett Schrotland was on the front line, right here on a section of road in the Rocky Mountain National Park called Highway 125.
We were literally sitting right here and watching the fire across this path, kind of as a trigger point.
The wildfire had burned slowly for a week. Then, on October 21st, fueled by powerful winds, the flames devoured more than 120,000 acres of timberland. The fire jumped from treetop to treetop, also consuming 370 homes in that single day, and threatening to claim everything in its path. Emergency crews evacuated a 150 square kilometer area. The fire eventually burned nearly 200,000 acres, and as is the case in most wildfires, the sheriff says East Troublesome was started by an individual.
There was some very much heroism on the nights of these evacuations. We have body cam footage of some of our officers praying that they're actually going to get to see their son later on, as you can see the flames rolling over the front of his patrol car.
Lord Jesus, please help me get out of here so I can be a dad to my son. The doors, that's all bubbled up. This is cracks. Again, the handle.
Deputy Aaron Trainer is alive and well and still driving the same truck that carried him to safety. He escaped once, but knows the region is ripe for another massive blaze.
Have you ever seen it this dry, it's just bone dry? There's no other way to describe it.
Yeah, absolutely. In my entire life, I've never seen it like this. And you know, growing up, we would have a break there August, September, where it would get kind of dry. But during the summertime, it would always rain every afternoon. And for the last several years, that just hasn't been the case.
Scientists will tell you climate change, bringing hotter temperatures and melting the snowpack earlier in the season, has a lot to do with this. There's also the infestation by the tiny pine beetle, which killed wide swaths of forest land and left behind fuel ripe for a roaring fire. An insect that many researchers say moved north as conditions grew warmer. As much as the region needs rainfall, even a small bit of precipitation could trigger flash flooding in areas that burned last season. Blackened, hardened soil loses its ability to absorb water.
What it does is it almost turns that soil into a repellent of rain, and it can't go into the soils. It runs off very quickly, and you can have a dangerous flooding situation.
I think from my side, I'm not a researcher, my job is to actually keep our community safe. And so whatever the conditions are, we have to adapt and overcome.
All the time, well aware, this could be a long, hot summer and another battle between man and nature. Sean Callebs, CGTN, Hot Sulphur Springs, Colorado.